Aaron? Where is Aaron right now? You done messed up, Aaron!
Let's discuss the blue RX8 that everyone is talking about. I'm gonna insert a clip of the RX8, probably right here. I'm sure you guys all saw the trailer video of it going up the trailer and full sending. And that's what started all the controversy or whatever. But everyone was upset about it not being able to make it on a trailer, or why would you build a car that can't get on a trailer and you can't drive it, or build a car just to put it on a trailer, or I saw so many different comments regarding the car and the trailer situation. So this isn't my first time seeing that car. If you guys follow me or know any of my cars, none of my cars really have that excessive camber, or, you know, that wasn't what I was going for when I built the cars that you guys see that I have. So keep all that in mind when you listen to my perspective on this vehicle. That I don't build very static cars. Well, not very static, very low cars that are static. Most of the cars that I have done have been on air suspension. So the RX-7 is also on air suspension. And I don't necessarily consider myself a stance guy, you know. And I walked up to it, and like I said, I'm not super into the whole negative camber thing, but I, as a car enthusiast, have learned to appreciate almost every aspect of automobiles. Like if we were racing lawnmowers and just putting whatever we could in a lawnmower and running around the grass, I would be out there watching it probably. I'd be like, yo, it's got a motor in it, it's got wheels, it moves, I'm here to check it out. That's me. So I saw this car and I immediately was like, oh, that thing's wild. I'm gonna go look at it. Go up to it, I start checking it out, and then somebody tells me that the car is static. And I say, no way this car is static. There's no way this thing moves like this. Like, there's zero clearance between this man's subframe and the ground. Flat ground, it can't move. Like, he has to pretty much send it everywhere because it's scraping all the time. I noticed that the opinion that a lot of you all have is, oh, I hate it, burn it with fire. You know, I wish it never existed, all that type of stuff. That isn't necessarily how I feel about it. It's just not how I feel about it at all. I don't consider myself a stance guy. I'm not in the industry to, you know, modify a car in that manner. So when I see people with track stance, I think that's cool. You lip to fender air suspension setup. People put umbrella it as stance, like it's under that stance umbrella. So when I see those types of cars, I go, okay, cool. When I see a street car that is just really clean and minimal mods, but they kept it clean, I like that. And then, you know, my car is like a little mix of a whole lot of things. I don't even have a genre that I put myself in. I'm just like, you know, out here doing whatever I think is cool. And a lot of people might not like my car, that's cool. I didn't build it for people to like it, I built it for me to enjoy it. I reached out to some people that are static low and that considered themselves static guys or stanced static guys. And I asked them, say, hey, what is the purpose of building one of these types of cars? Like, what is the goal? Like, when you build one of these cars, what are you going for? Because, you know, when you build a drag car, you want it to be very fast in a straight line. You want it to have good traction. You want to be able to get off the line fast. You want the 60 foot to be great. You want more power, less weight. You know, cool. We know those are the goals of a drag car. You want to get down that quarter mile as fast as you can, or eighth mile, or whatever drag racing you do. You want to get from A to B faster than everyone else. What's the purpose? When you build a car that's static, what are you going for? And I was told by more than one person that the goal was to, and you know, not all static stance guys are built the same. You know, not everybody can build their static stance car differently and can have different goals in mind, and that's okay. And that's great, and I am glad that's the way it is. You know, everybody can do their own thing, and we can all look at it. But multiple people told me that the goal was to build a car that was as low as possible, static, as low as possible, with the most aggressive wheels it can find a way to fit. So low, aggressive wheels, that's that's the general gist I got from when I asked people, okay, so what are you trying to build? What are you doing? So those were the goals. As low as possible, static, low, wide wheels, and, you know, still be able to drive it. When you look at that RX8 from the perspective of what those goals are, that car accomplishes all those goals. I don't think that car was meant to be a SEMA quality build. I don't think that's where that car was going. The first time I saw the car, it did not have a lot of damage though. It was not very damaged. The trailer thing hadn't happened yet. It may have been freshly done, so it wasn't missing chunks out of the side skirt or whatever damage has happened since he's been driving it like that. So at the time that I saw it for the first time, it was fairly clean. It didn't have much damage. When I was very impressed, I was like, you drive this thing like this and it's not all ripped to pieces? When you look at it from that perspective, the goals that this owner was trying to accomplish, those goals were accomplished. If my goal is to go from A to B very fast, and I go from A to B very fast, but you don't like my car because you're a stance guy. You don't like it because you think I have too much wheel gap because I'm fitting 345s on the rear. I might say, hey, I'm not trying to not have wheel gap. I'm trying to go from A to B very quickly. So you're saying, hey, you need less wheel gap. That's, that doesn't look good. That doesn't mean anything to me. I'm like, no, okay, that's a cool story, bro. I need to go from A to B very fast. That's what that car is. It doesn't necessarily need to. He's not trying to do all these other things. He's trying to do the A, B, and C. Wide wheels, low, static. That car accomplishes those things. And that's not my main point. My main point is, from a stance perspective, if you're building a stance car and you dismiss this vehicle, I don't know, it's like hurting that industry itself. That car took whatever barriers there were for being low or whatever and shattered them. I haven't seen many cars that have achieved that aggressive of a wheel while being that low and static. If you have, then, let me know, show them to me. I'll probably appreciate them too. But it seems like the only thing someone building a car like that can do is push the stance scene to be even larger and get people to be even more creative and grow that scene in general. Even though I'm not necessarily, a part of that culture, I'm not the static low guy that's doing these things. I am an automotive enthusiast, so I want the industry to grow in general. I just want it to grow. And if that's a part of the industry, then that part of the industry could grow too. I want the entire thing to get larger. If I'm a drifter, I want the drag racing people to get larger too. I want everybody to get bigger, so the automotive industry and all can grow, so it all can get bigger. And if people are coming into the industry and that's the thing they like to do, then let them do that thing. I'm like, all right, you wanna build a stance car like that, then you should build a stance car like that. And if that's what's going to bring you into the automotive industry, then let that bring you into the automotive industry and let that happen, and let that industry grow. If one part of the industry grows, the industry in its entirety grows. And like, that's one of my perspectives of it, is that if that industry is going to exist, there's nothing, just because you don't like it doesn't mean that it should cease to exist. I say, no, if you don't like stance, then you shouldn't do stance. You should do whatever it is you like. You like street cars that are really clean and don't have many mods, but you stay true to the body lines, then you should do that. You like, I don't know, people don't like my car all the time because, I erased all the stock body lines with a Velside kit, and maybe that's what I want to do. So if you're into that type of thing, then, people are going to keep doing what they want to do. And overall, it just builds the entire industry, it builds just automotive industry in general. If stance gets really big, then the industry gets even bigger. If drag racing gets really big, it's already really big, but it grows, everything grows. You know, just, I don't know, the entire industry grows when something grows. So if stance is growing, then the industry is growing. You know, more people are coming in, more people are looking at cars, and that's what, at the end of the day, we're all in the industry together. That car, in my opinion, doing nothing but making the stance scene more creative and more competitive, because like I say, I've been to a lot of car shows, and I've seen a lot of stance cars, and I've seen a lot of static low cars, and him doing whatever he did to get that car that low and it still be drivable, because he does drive it like that. I've seen it. To me, just makes the rest of the stance scene be more creative as well, because nobody wants to see the same type of cars over and over and over again. So let's say you like drag cars, you go to a drag strip. What if they were all the same? You wouldn't have a really good time. You'd enjoy it for like 5 minutes because you've seen your favorite type of car go. Okay, cool, I like Supras, cool. Nothing but Supras, and they all have the same mods. Y'all all run the same time. Kind of whack, you know? You want to see something else come out there. You want to have your Supra, and you want to race some guy in STI that is 1,000 horsepower. That's what makes it fun. Or, you know, so imagine if people weren't doing motor swaps. You know, we like motor swaps, but what if I said, I don't like motor swaps, no more motor swaps? That industry would just be so dead and not creative. Somebody out there was like, you know what? I'm going to put an LS in this thing. And they did it. And then he probably got criticism from people, but it created diversity and that in the industry, and it motivated people to do other types of swaps, put LSs in other things. We'll swap anything in anything now. You know, it's because somebody did it, and somebody was like, yo, I'm going to be against the status quo. I'm going to do something different, and they did it. And people probably didn't like it because, the best motor is the one they put in the car. They knew what they were doing when they put it together. Yeah, I get all that, sure. But somebody did something different. And whether people liked it or not, somebody did it. And what happened? Other people started doing it, and people started getting more creative, and the industry grew. And like I said, look at us now. We're putting any motor you can imagine has been in several different chassis, which is crazy, and I enjoy that, and that's fun. But imagine if nobody ever done it. So as a member of the stance community, if you're a member of that community, I don't understand why you would be against somebody trying to, you know, build this car the way he wants. I'm like, okay, you built this car and you achieved negative whatever on camber, and you have 19 by 15, negative 130, you know, wheels on that thing, and you still drive it. Wow. If I'm a member of that community and I see this car, I'm going to go, okay, I see you did that. I'm going to raise you, and I'm going to do even lower, negative more than you did, and 19 by 15, negative more than you did. And that's just going to keep raising the bar for stance cars. And you're like, hey, you think his car's not clean? Cool. I'm going to do the same thing you did, except for my car is going to be clean. I'm not going to let it get damaged. Why? Because I'm that good. That's what I would say. I'd be trying to outdo that car. I'd be trying to do better. And that's how growth is achieved. Somebody sees somebody and go, hey, I can do that too. I can do that too. I can do that better. Well, instead of saying, hey, I hate your car, just be like, hey, okay, I'm going to do what you did, but better. So I think that just promotes growth. So if anything, I think what he's doing is promoting growth. And yeah, it got stuck on the trailer or whatever, that video. He pretty much, I heard the story behind that. He, you know, I want to put all his business out. He pretty much had to put it on a trailer right then and there. There was no option for him to drive it on the road anymore. He had to get it on a trailer right then and there, or there were going to be severe consequences. So the things he uses to load that car on a trailer on a regular day weren't at his disposal at the time, because he was expecting to continue to drive the car. So he didn't have all the tools available to be able to get it on a trailer. However he gets it on a trailer on a regular day. I don't know how he gets it on a trailer on a regular day. I'm not there. So whatever he does to get on a trailer, he didn't have those tools at the time because they weren't with him, because he was driving the car. So he had to get it on a regular trailer without those things. So at that point, I'm sure a lot of you guys probably experienced the same thing. is very hard. Like my car's on bags and I can't get it on a trailer most of the time. Aired all the way up, I can't get it on trailers. That's how I've messed up half my kit, trying to get it on a trailer. Basically, long story short, I think building this car just promotes growth in the stance industry. Growth, creativity is going to motivate other people to try to do better or achieve better or anything. It's going to promote all that. Doing that just promotes the entire industry, because one part of the industry grows, everything grows, in my opinion. As an automotive enthusiast, I'll look at that car and I'll say, hey, that's not necessarily how I would have built that same car, but let me come check out what you're doing and what your goals are and see how you have accomplished it. And with his goals being ABC, wide wheels, low, and static, which one of those things did it not accomplish? That part of the industry is here, and people are going to do it because that's what they want to do. You got to let people do what they want to do. So if people want to keep putting, ultra wide wheels on cars and maxing the camera out at the shows, don't let them do it, You saying, I think that car is trash isn't going to get rid of it. Like, you build your car the way you want, and they build their cars the way they want. So me being able to look at that car and say, hey, you have accomplished what you wanted to accomplish. It's not the same cookie cutter build everybody else is doing, even though it's not necessarily what I would do. Doesn't mean, it shouldn't exist. Like, no. So all the drag racers probably think drifting shouldn't exist, and all the drifters probably think driving in a straight line fast is kind of whack because they go sideways fast. Imagine if one of them decided that the industry didn't exist, the other one didn't exist anymore. Everybody would be pretty upset about it, wouldn't they? Well, half the people would be upset, the people that were fans of the one that didn't win. So that's how I feel about that car. I'm like, no, I think it's going to promote growth in that industry. And I think growth in that industry promotes growth in the broad umbrella term of automotives in general, which, I'm not mad about. But when you go to a car show, don't you want to see a variety of things? You want to see all the same stock cars. So that's kind of where I am with it, That might be it. Peace out.